Welcome to the Widowed Parent Podcast with your host, Jenny Lisk.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Widowed Parent Podcast Live. I'm here this morning with my guest, Paul Rubin of Camp Good Mourning. Paul, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much, Jenny.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to speaking with you. First of all, tell us where you are located.
So we're on Long Island in a town called Huntington. We're headquartered here. Our campsite is Camp Aquatic, which is a little bit further east, more on the South Fork of Long Island. We kind of take children from, and parents as well, from anywhere on Long Island. So it would be Nassau and Suffolk counties.
Okay, great. And so tell us, what kind of programs do you have?
So our regular programming is our camps. That's really kind of the hub of what we do. We provide a spring and fall camp, and we do that on purpose because there are other organizations that provide things in the summertime, and we don't want to duplicate services. We want to make sure that we provide something a little bit different, and this allows us to do that. We'll hold 2 camp programs. They're weekend programs, they're overnight programs, and that's important specifically because of it's the way kids bond. In a day camp program, day camp programs are great. The overnight program just allows us to give them a little something extra where they can kind of unwind and talk about real stuff.
Yeah, terrific. And also, what are the ages then for the participants at camp?
So generally speaking, they're 7 to 17. However, if there's a child who's 6 but developmentally appropriate for our camp, we're more than happy to include them. We really pride ourselves in being inclusive and not exclusive. And the same goes on the top end. If a child is, say, 18, but still in high school, we'll consider that as well. We want them to get the support that they need. Age really is only chronological. It has nothing to do with the emotional.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so then what types of losses do the participants have?
So we specifically work on the loss of a parent and or sibling. However, again, we try to be inclusive. So if there happens to be a child who had an aunt or an uncle or a grandparent living in the house, then, we consider that part of the family. We know that traditional, quote unquote, traditional families don't necessarily exist anymore in the real sense. So, we are kind of growing with the way our culture is growing. So we want to make sure that we take care of as many kids and families as possible.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And is there any sort of cost to participate?
That's the great thing about camp, is that it costs families nothing. So
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and we're really proud to be able to do that. We specifically, we understand that there's going to be not only an emotional strain, but a financial strain for families. And we don't want to give them something else, another hardship that they have to consider, do I send my kids to camp or do I feed them? That sort of thing. So it's absolutely free to them. We are a grassroots organization that really operates on donations, in-kind donations, sponsorships, and grants.
Right. Okay. And you mentioned it's a weekend camp, so that sounds like it's about 2 nights, 2.5 days, something like that.
Yeah, exactly right. So kids will arrive on a Friday afternoon, say around 3:30 or so, and then we'll have them all the way through on Sunday at about 4 p.m., at which time they leave. Obviously, we get there a little bit earlier on Friday mornings to set up and all that stuff, and we actually stay a little bit later to help our volunteers to process the entire weekend. But essentially the kids will be there all day, pretty much. If they decide to cut out of school early, or if they decide to just come to camp, they'll arrive somewhere around 3:30.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then what kinds of activities can they expect throughout the weekend?
Well, one of the things that, because it's a bereavement camp, it's like any other camp, but one thing that they can expect is our support groups. So we have 4 support groups throughout the weekend. I feel that it wouldn't be, we would be missing out on something if we didn't provide support. So we provide 4 support groups throughout the weekend. Each one is designed to focus on a different theme or topic. So we have 4 of those. So they occur Friday night, Saturday we have 2, and then 1 on Sunday. And just very shortly and briefly, the first one focuses on allowing the children to share their grief story, because sometimes they just don't have the opportunity to do that in as full or as short as they want it to be. The second one on Saturday morning, focuses on identifying and exploring feelings. And we do that in several different modalities. We could do it through talk, games, activities is big. So games and activities is huge for kids. So we try to design it around that. The third one is all about coping skills, the healthy ones as well as the unhealthy ones. So we want to make sure that kids are aware of what they are and choosing ones that work for them. And then the last one is all about, which is on Sunday, is all about exploring how they can stay connected to their loved ones, even though that they're gone. And just as important, how are they going to stay connected to their new friends that they met at camp? Because once they go home, they may not have the access of the 24/7 support that they had at camp. So we want them to go home, hopefully with a new friend, a new mentor, somebody that they can also go to besides their parent.
And then in between these different grief groups, are you doing like regular camp type things? What kind of things happen in between?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we actually like to try to keep our campers together even after camp is over. So we've designed and created different events so that they can come together in between camps. So for example, we finished our fall virtual camp. I think it was in September, the end of September. It seems so long ago, but it was just around the corner, either September, beginning of October. And so we immediately planned a Halloween event called Spooktacular. And that was all about giving the kids and the parents an opportunity to get dressed up in Halloween costumes, as well as enjoy a painting event. So we had a local Long Island artist come in and create a painting, and it's almost like a paint and sip, but without the sip. And so, it was a beautiful fun Halloween painting of a black cat on top of a jack-o'-lantern with a huge glowing moon in the background. Everybody had fun, and we awarded prizes at the end for cutest costume, best costume, not only for the kids, but also for the adults. And we have a couple other things coming up real quickly. We have coping with the holidays, because we are coming up with a parade of holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's. I mean, it just goes on and on. So we have something going on November 11th, which is just to provide parents as well as kids with opportunities to explore the different types of ways to cope with the holidays. And then we also have something coming up called Celebration of Life, which is, again, to bring the families together, which was designed by one of our camp moms. And it's a painting, again, a paint event that can be personalized for each attendee. So each attendee paints their painting and then puts their loved one's name in the heart-shaped sand, because it's beach themed. So it could be more than one. It could be more than one loved one. It could be multiple loved ones. It's entirely up to the artist or the parent of the child.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds terrific. Great. So if people didn't go to camp this last year, and maybe they're thinking about going next year, first of all, can they start signing up now for camp? And also, can they start joining activities now, or do they have to wait until next spring to do anything?
Yeah, we don't want anybody to wait. We want families to connect with us, and we want to connect with families as much as possible. So all they have to do is go to our website. So for camp, they can sign up for camp now. They just have to put in an application. And once we get that application, we're not processing them right now, just because we're so far away and so many things can happen between now and camp, which will start April 30th. But at least we'll have them. And then as they come in, that's how we'll review them. So we want to make sure that we can get in as many kids as possible.
Yeah, great. Okay, great. Well, let me just ask one more question, then a little off the logistics and maybe onto a more philosophical question. How do you think that programs like your camps and your year-round programs can be helpful to grieving kids and grieving families?
It comes back to that community. We want our campers and our families and our grieving parents to recognize that they're not the only ones. I think sometimes families, having worked in this arena for about 18 years now, one of the things is that they can become so isolated, and they don't recognize that they're not the only ones, but there are quite a few. And the statistics just bear that out. So once they come together and they start hearing each other's stories, grief stories, they're not only hearing things that resonate with them, but also things that they never even thought about. So that's really important, is creating that community amongst campers and parents so that they recognize that they're not alone.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And where can people find Camp Good Mourning?
So they can find us online, Camp Good Mourning, MOURNING.org. They can also find us on Facebook, same thing, facebook.com/Camp Good Mourning. We're also on Instagram. That's a little bit different. It's Camp Good Mourning, MOURNINGLI for Long Island. Or they can reach out to us at 631-772-9115, or they can also call 917-620-9279.
Okay, terrific. Well, Paul, thank you so much for speaking with me today.
You bet. Thanks so much, Jenny.
Thank you for listening to the Widowed Parent Podcast with your host, Jenny Lisk. Connect with us on social media and at widowedparentpodcast.com.